first got involved with Dreamwell, I don't know, I think it was 1,000 years ago. I was working at the Iowa City Public Library, and I was working at the desk, and actually David Prevey came up to do auditions for ICCT's Stoppard plays after Magritte and the Real Inspector Hound. So I tried out for those because I hadn't done any theater for a while I was in school. I sort of focused on that, and in that play I met Jamie Ewing and Vicky Krajewski, and they both told me that I should try out for Dreamwell, that I would love Dreamwell, and they were correct. So I tried out for Dreamwell show. After that, the next show that I tried out, I believe, was Valparaiso, and I worked with them in that, and then I became a board member, and the rest, I guess, as they say, is history. You know, I have really not worked on a show at Dreamwell that I did not enjoy the experience thoroughly from beginning to end. I worked on the Verge the first time that we did it, and I loved it, and it was my suggestion to do it again because it's such a great show. But I would say probably my funniest story is also not that funny, but literally before the Book of Liz, the ceiling tiles from the bathroom above at Wesley fell down into the theater about an hour before we were supposed to open. So, yeah, it was a literally shit hits the fan moment, sort of, and we took care of it, and the show must go on, and in fact it did. The Wesley Center at that time was the free medical clinic, and so, and they also had free lunches there, and so there was, between those two things, the doors were open all the time, and there was just a ton of flies there, like always, and so the bathroom tiles falling down did not help the flies situation at all. At the risk of sounding super cheesy, I'm going to say that a big part of why Dreamwell has lasted as long as it did is the Faldudos. Matt Faldudo, of course, has been very involved, but Sharon was one of the founders, and she has remained extremely supportive, done a million things for Dreamwell over the years. They, at the risk of sounding whatever, dreamed well. They had an idea of what they wanted, and they have continued that. They get quality people that care about our mission statement and what we're trying to do for the community at large. It's more than just about putting on plays. It's about trying to invoke the community and trying to empower people. And I think that that's one thing that Dreamwell is maintained, regardless of what show we put on the stage, is what we try to bring to the community. I was like, we need a volunteer coordinator, and I think that would be a good job for the vice president, partially because I'm willing to do it and I'm already that person. But the vice president is a support of the president and support of Dreamwell in general, and so it's very important that that voice goes out to our volunteers, and what do I want our volunteers to be. And we're really lucky to be in Iowa City. It's a really amazing community where people are very interested in a lot of different things, between politics and history and art and science, and just generally wanting to live in a better place. And I think that that is the pool that we are able to pick from, and we get amazing people to join our board, and we get amazing people to help with our shows and direct and act and do everything, and it's a really great experience. How does culture affect society, affect economy, affect the world at large? How do all these things tie in? How do science and arts go together? How do all of these things work? And the people that I think that we end up with at Dreamwell are people that are interested in the types of shows that we do, and are interested in having a more green community, having a more inclusive community, and trying very hard to make the most of what we have with the few resources that we have. That's the other thing about Dreamwell, is that people have to sort of be able to think on their feet and be willing to be resourceful and to try to make something out of nothing in the most extreme way that theater can possibly do that, because we We always have a lower amount of budget, a lower amount of anything that we can work with. Our space is limited, everything that we have, and I really think that that's sort of what makes the magic all that much more magical, is that we really take so many people come together to just make it really, really happen. I think that, the audience experience is really an individual experience, and it's hard to say, but I definitely think that one thing that they're probably not have seen the show before, or if they have, maybe only once, or, it's not something that they've seen 75 times, which is great in its own merit, but I feel like we offer something that allows you to see something that maybe you haven't quite seen before. And I think the other thing that the audiences seem to take away is that they seem to learn something from the show one way or another. When I did Copenhagen, we had a timeline, we had a science experiment, we had all kinds of things. It was completely supported by the board. Everyone was excited about it. We sort of had this environment of like, we're going to do a play and it's going to be this, but we're also going to make the most of it and try to learn something from it. I think that with that idea of we are a theater of exploration is that we don't know everything. We've come with our toolkit, and we know what we think we know, and we think we know what we might find, but we have that sort of spirit of maybe we'll find something new, maybe it'll be something different, maybe I'll have to try something that I've never tried before in order to make something work. There's just sort of that core personality trait, I think, that is inherent in everyone that's involved with Dreamwell, which is, what can I do to make this the best that I can make it, and this experience, and be present in this moment and try to make everything work. And obviously things don't always work out so magically and special and no problem, but I think that when it comes right down to it, everybody is willing to work hard in order to do what needs to be done. But I do think that the legacy that Matt and Sharon, Allie and Paul created is a place where people can come and they can try things out, and maybe they haven't been in theater for 20 years, we'll try to find a spot for you. Maybe you've done 50,000 plays and you want to be the star. You might get the star role, or we might have you work backstage. But the idea is just, I think what will keep Dreamwell going is the people. That's what is at our core. The Dreamwell thing is that you can be yourself, and we'll figure out a spot for you, versus you making yourself fit into our organization. We will grow as an organization based off of what is presented to us. I think that the best hope for Dreamwell is that we will eventually find our own space. And I think that the reason that is important is because you rehearse in the same space, you hang out there, you might show up there at the same time as somebody else and actually write a script or do something, to just sort of have that creative environment, involvement level of where people can just stop by. I think that would be great for Dreamwell. I think that as far as if Dreamwell stayed the same and didn't find a space, and we would continue to just make quality shows that we thought were relevant to the time period and what was going on. I think theater is a great way for people to start conversations. It's a way for you to go and to see the same thing and to talk about what you saw, and what is your version of what you saw, and what line spoke to you, and what actor made the most impact on you and why. I mean, everyone takes something out of it. You can set 5 people up in front of a Monet painting and they're all going to come away with something else. Somebody's going to like the color, somebody's going to like the texture, somebody else it's going to remind them of memory of being at their grandmother's farm. It doesn't matter. It's what is important about art is it incites discussion, and discussion and communication is what keeps people together and makes the community what it is. Blood, sweat, and tears, every moment that I've spent at Dreamwell has, I think, helped to shape me as an artist and as a community member. I feel very strongly about my ties here, and I have made some lifelong friends. I carry it in my heart, and I will always carry it in my heart. And I think Jamie Ewing, Vicky Krajewski, Christy Hartsgrove, Scott West for getting me involved, getting me on the board, and pushing me in the right direction. I wish you all the best. Dreamwell, whether I'm involved or not, I think you're wonderful. Keep on keeping on it.